Hello everyone, Manathrol here, and welcome back to the Suggestions Saturday video. Now, I have a couple things I want to discuss for this weekend, mostly because the first idea, kind of small. So I'd like to discuss two of them with you, and the first one being is the prestige system. A while ago, it was mentioned about potentially having a prestige system, and it didn't go over too well because a lot of people didn't want to be forced. They didn't want to lose out on their XP. They liked the concept, but they didn't like certain things that went along with it, which is completely understandable. Sorry, I'm getting ready for a Vindicta trip here. Trying to remember how to fight her. But yeah, so actually going to and actually enabling it wouldn't be a horrible idea, because if you enable it, one of the things that could be done is people don't lose their XP. There's no actual perk to it other than just the fact that it's something you kind of unlock. It's something that you wanted to do, basically. It's nothing overly spectacular. It's just something that you wanted to do. It's something for the sake of bragging, basically. It's nothing, like I said, it's nothing spectacular. It's just for the sake of bragging and boasting, like, hey, I did this, blah 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 blah. That's all I really see it as, and that's actually how it should kind of be. The only thing is, it should also be that, it should be that whenever you're doing this, like whenever you're prestiging, as you prestige, it gets a little easier each time. So, every time you prestige, you get, like kind of like a boost of your XP. It takes less time. You don't have to worry about it as much. Now, I know some people would be like, well, isn't that kind of going against, a lot of things with it? It's like, not really. Because, when you really think about it, somebody who's already gotten 99, now they have to go through and do it again. It's really not too much of a big deal if you say, okay, these people, they could just get to that level faster again. Because they already had it once. It's not like it's going to be something that they're gaining in a way that they haven't before. They're not one-upping other people. It's just they have a prestige marking. And one of the things I thought would be kind of cool for the prestige system is if there's cosmetics for it. And by cosmetics, I mean maybe the skill keep gets a little fancier each time you prestige it. Every so many times it gets prestige, it gets a little fancier. Or, it just, whenever you look at somebody's skill, you'll see that it's like 99, and then maybe it'll have like a +1 for, one-time prestige. What are those kind of things? Not anything overly spectacular, but it's enough to make people want to prestige, because it's enough for people to be like, hey, I'm doing this. This is awesome. I've had such and such prestige. It's kind of like people getting for the 200 mil XP. And I don't think you should have to lose XP or anything of the sort. I think it should just be the fact that you prestige, and things go well. That's all. But that's it for the prestige system. But the main thing I wanted to get to is kind of like it's how they were saying about Unscape. And with Unscape, I actually thought of something. Is actually that idea that they had with that kind of begat this idea. And what it is it's Unscape, but it's also elite items. And by elite items, this is what I mean. Like, okay, it would only affect crafting skills. It's not going to affect. Maybe it could affect, the gathering skills and support skills. It could, but the main ones I'm thinking of, it would mainly affect combat skills. Well, not combat, but crafting skills. So we're talking, I'm going to use, for example, smithing. Mainly because smithing is probably the easiest one to come to mind. And also something with invention, too. Okay, let's go with the invention idea. Okay, a lot of us love the borrow sets. But, well, their effects. But the gear is kind of dated. It's not that great. So how about at the exchange of XP that you have already earned, you're able to concentrate and kind of have like some sort of weird amnesia effect, and you lose a certain amount of your invention XP, but when you do that, you're able to concentrate the borrower's armor into a component. Now this component would be like saying, okay, I fully degraded an entire set of Guthans. I can now get a Guthan's component. And this Guthan's component can make a 2-slot perk, and you have to have at least 5 of these, so you have to have it filled up in your bar. And what it'll do is that 2-slot perk will then give you the same effect as Guthan's. That's what it would do. But it'd be at the expense of your smithing or your invention XP. So it'd be kind of good, but kind of bad at the same time, because it could, like, the higher the gear, like the type of thing you could be doing with it, it could be that, you know, you lose like 5 mil XP just for doing one of those. And see, the reason why I think this is a good idea is because it kind of brings in a new layer of skilling, and actually money making for skillers too. So now let's translate it into, let's say smithing. We'll go with smithing for now. What you could do with smithing is the stuff that degrades to dust. Well, instead of degrading to complete dust, you now get an item. You can't fix it by normal means. Somebody with level 99 has to take it, fix it, and for the expense of fixing it, they lose a lot of XP. It's one of those kind of weird trade-offs where it would be good, but at the same time, is it good enough for the risk of the XP? However, this kind of a thing would be very popular with people. It'd be very good for all sorts of people, really. So it would help skillers because, well, let's face it, if you're a skiller and if you love a skill, you're going to have tons of XP. It would prevent people from all having 200 mil XP, unless that's their goal, and then they go for that anyway. But it would kind of prevent everybody from having that same level, the same XP. It would make things a little bit more interesting, if you ask me. So that's the 2 suggestions for the week. I'm really curious to see what ideas you guys would have for it. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think it should be like that? Do you think there should be more? Do you think there should be less? What do you think about elite items? Because this is actually an idea that could go pretty far, because we could have additions to skills, we could have additions to gear. Like I said with the Guthans, like with the borrow sets, you could disassemble and make new stuff, make new components. There's a lot of potential there. But let me know what you guys think, and that'll actually do it then for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later guys.